Last on the agenda today, I want to introduce Sheriff Sam Krish and Chief Greg Garlock to talk about the Allen County Drug Task Force.
Yeah, sure, you guys can come up.
I'd like to invite all the chiefs and law enforcement representatives, please come on up with us.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity being here this morning. And what we want to do is, as you can see, there's a lot of different law enforcement agencies up here, and we wanted to talk about the West Central Ohio Crime Task Force, basically the drug unit, if you will. But it's a combined task force with all law enforcement agencies in Allen County, as well as the prosecutor's office has assigned a full-time prosecutor to the task force. So I wanted to go over, just touch base on some of the numbers for 2010, because actually for 2010 is completed a full year of I'll just use the word joint cooperation. And so I'll touch base on some of the numbers, and then if anybody else has anything else to add, we'll let them do that. But and I'll hand these out if anybody's interested. I just wanted to touch base on some of the totals. But for the total cases for 2010 was 471, and out of that was 65 search warrants and 290 controlled buys. And then there's a list of some of the drugs, and again, I'll pass this out, and it breaks it down. For example, like crack cocaine, they had 132 cases involving crack cocaine. And again, the list, there's a list of different drugs on here. And the total cases then was 331, 295 charges, 117 indictments, 8 vehicles forfeited, and 1 house. And there was 28 firearms that was seized, along with $92,000 in cash. Now, that number is actually the money that was seized. It's not that money has not all been turned over to the task force, so there is a difference. But I just wanted to let you know that that may be from the result of a raid or an investigation. They'll seize that money, and then we have to wait for the court to actually get that money turned over. But $92,000 was actually seized. And personally, from the sheriff's office standpoint, I'm pleased with these results. Going into 2011, I think things are going to get a lot better. There's about 11 officers in the task force, and then, like I was saying, with a full-time prosecutor. So certainly all our budgets are tight, but I think it's important to carry on the task force in the direction that we're heading. They put in a lot of hours, so the credit goes to those individuals in the task force to make these numbers what we have today. And this chart here, you can look at it when we're done, but this is the county, and if you take a look at this, these are the actual raids, search warrants that were conducted throughout the county, and if you take a look at it, it's throughout the whole county. There's not just one area, and that's what we've talked about before. The drug problems spread out through the entire county. So again, I'm pleased with the results and looking forward going into 2011 and just improving what we've done in 2010. So I'll just turn it over to anybody else that may have something to say, and then at the end, if anybody has any questions, we certainly can answer anybody's questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I guess just briefly, I wanted to comment on a couple things. One is first of all, the appreciation I have for the work that this crime task force has been involved in. These numbers obviously speak for themselves. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to speak to City Council about the crime numbers that had been reduced in the community. Almost 15% of overall crime and almost 28% in violent crime. There is no question in my mind that there is a link between the work of the task force in drug-related crime, particularly, and those numbers in every aspect, whether it's larceny or whether it's violent crime. And I also want to express my appreciation to the other agencies that have made major contributions to the work of the task force. I know that in years past there's been a tremendous focus obviously on the Allen County Sheriff's Department and the Lima Police Department and our commitment to that. But what people may not realize is that the agencies represented by those behind me have made major contributions, either by personnel, resources, information, support, that has all made this work. The interchange that's occurring now, the flow of information, the help that we're giving each other with a recognition that none of this crime is confined to anybody's political boundaries is just phenomenal. There is so much being said today in government about consolidation of services and trying to be more efficient in how we do that in government. Frankly, I personally believe you need to just look at this operation as an example of what happens when people bring their resources together and make. There is no way, for instance, if you look at the numbers that are represented again by the agencies by here, that could any one of our agencies fulfill those numbers, whether it be our tactical units, our SWAT team, or this group. So the fact that they've come together to help all of us in the fight against this problem in our community is terrific, and I just am so grateful that we've had the representation here to visually show this community how cooperative it is. Also want to thank the representatives from Delphus City Administration who are here, and the other governmental entities that have lended the support, otherwise this would not happen. Thank you.
Well, we've come a long way in the past 2 years. When we started to talk about putting things together 2 years ago, we found ourselves at a place where there wasn't a lot of cooperation. I think that was pretty evident in the newspaper. We found ourselves at a place where we needed to come together as a community, as a law enforcement community, and I want to thank the people involved, just like Chief Garlock did, the LPD, the Sheriff's Department, all the outlying agencies, Delphus PD. They've all contributed. We've come together as one group to dedicate ourselves to the the reduction of drug-related crimes in our county. With that, there's some growing pains always, but I think as Chief Garlock pointed out, the numbers speak for themselves, and they're good numbers for the task force. They've done good work. They've dedicated themselves to doing the job, 24/7, 365. As far as our office goes, we supplied a full-time prosecutor to that position, which was kind of a first in our jurisdiction. That hadn't been done before. While somebody was generally assigned to drug cases, we now have somebody that actually works those drug cases full-time from beginning to end, and it's made the whole process much more efficient, less duplication, and in these days of limited resources, I can only say that the citizens of this county should be proud of the law enforcement agencies in this community that have buckled down, done more with a lot less, and been very efficient and done just an excellent job, and are just very dedicated individuals. Couldn't have been done without the support of all the people that are standing behind me that represent almost every law enforcement agency within our county, and I appreciate that very much, and job well done. Thank you.
I was waiting until see if somebody would nudge somebody else forward.
We're done nudging.
I'm going to make a comment, and even though I'm here as acting mayor, but as president of city council, I'd like thank you to our chief for the work that our officers have done, and I'd like to ask all of you to please pass on our thanks and gratitude to all of the men and women in your services that have helped to make a serious dent in crime. And it would be nice if we could one day see where we wouldn't need a drug task force because there weren't drugs in the community, but unfortunately that's not something that I really think we're going to see completely get eradicated. So thank you all for all of your hard work and for finding a process that does have a serious impact. Thank you.